Okay. Hello, 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 and welcome. Thank you, everyone, for joining. This is the Impact Series, Episode 1. We are talking about patient powered, healthcare and how that affects us in our lives. We have a wonderful panel today. We're going to start with introducing ourselves really quickly. I just want to make sure everything is what it's supposed to be before we really start. So give me 1 second. Let me just check. And yes, we are. Okay, so I am Shay Breon Howard, aka Shay Breon the Advocate, aka Shay the Advocate. Kind of shortened it so people could,
Hmm.
you know who I am. A little easier. It's a little hard to pronounce sometimes, so I just give it a little razzle dazzle. Uh, with that being said, I'm a filmmaker, photographer, author, sickle cell and mental health advocate. I am also a mother of a beautiful 11-year-old sickle cell trait warrior. She will be 12 in December. Oh my goodness, where's time going? Jeez. Other than that, I just use my creative talents to bring awareness and education to sickle cell and mental health. Uh, and that is who I am. Dr. Felicia Hunt, would you like to take it away and keep it going?
Sure, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Felicia Hunt. I'm a doctor in psychology and a certified sex coach. I'm a mentor and an advocate. I have SS disease, and I'm a mother. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a business called Sex Coaching and Sex Education Services. I'm also an author. I will be a two-time author because this month I will be publishing a book called Liberating Your Sex, A Journey to Your Authentic Life. It is a self-help book to help you become more in tune with who you were created to be. Be looking out for that soon. And also, I am the founder of a new 501c3, which is called Fable Warriors Network. It's for Warriors 50 plus. I'm looking forward to getting registered. We will be having fundraisers event to raise seed money. So be looking out for a lot of great stuff coming from me this year. So yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. Jason, would you like to go?
Oh, I can take it. I was just letting ladies go first. I'm Jason Robert Moore, a sickle cell warrior with beta thalassemia. I'm located in Buffalo, New York, but I'm also an entrepreneur. I am the regional worker for the Sickle Cell Warriors of Buffalo here, where we do a lot of advocacy, patient work, and trying to build a lot within the community for us warriors. I've also started a fresh company, Kendrick Compass Holdings LLC, as a consultant, and I've started my coin framework, which is a compass of inner navigation, and that's to help warriors and successful entrepreneurs, build out, because I really want to create an ecosystem for warriors to utilize their talents instead of us being at the bottom rung of everything. So I want to just take us and warriors and their talents to a higher level. So that's me in a nutshell. Oh yeah, my daughter just went to college last Wednesday, so it's another sickle cell trait warrior. Uh, Trying to help the community as always. Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. Tanisha, you ready?
Jason, I would have never knew you had kids in college. Wouldn't have known. at all.
Yeah,
All right. Hey, y'all. My name is Tanisha K. I am from Birmingham, Alabama. I am a podcast host, SC Warrior. I do have sickle cell. I'm the visionary behind Sisters That Pray. It's a women's ministry. I'm a SC advocate. I work with the Sickle Cell Disease Association of Central Alabama. I work with Sickle International Family Coalition. And there's a new project we're starting called Sickle Rise, so we're working on that. I am a HBCU graduate from Delaware State University, and yeah, I love inspiring people. I love writing, and my brand is Tanisha K Collections LLC, and that's me. I love God, I love people, and I strive to make a difference.
that's dope.
Amen. Well, thank you all for joining. I appreciate you for being here on this lovely day in September, Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So, for those of you who, you know, oh, we have one more guest joining, so let's get her on here. Get her introduction, and then we can go from there. Almost didn't make it. Look at you. I just play. Let me see. Trying to get this in here all together with the video without it spazzing on us. Because this, as you guys can tell, I'm using a new program right now. And yeah, so be a little patient with me. Okay? It's okay. Aisha, are you there? I can see you. I don't hear you though. What just happened? What
It
did
look
I do?
it look like she don't know that
What did
she's
I?
on. I don't know if she's on, but I don't know if she knows she's on.
Could be a delay.
Okay. I
Yeah,
think it might be a delay. Let me see. Hold on.
yeah, yeah.
Pulling it in. Yeah, like I said, just be a little patient. It's okay.
Well, she dropped. She'll be back hopefully.
Yeah,
You
she'll
got
be
to talk.
back. Uh,
You got to talk.
yeah, it says it, but she's not. She dropped out. It lags a second. Okay, so with this wonderful, beautiful video that I that I made for us today, can you all even see it? Because for me, it's choppy. Is that choppy for y'all as well?
Yeah, it's that little segment right in the back. I can see it. It look a little
Let me
Yeah,
see.
digitized, but
I can see it. I think I can see it. I think I'm looking at it.
yeah,
That's
it's
yeah.
enlarged.
It's
Yeah,
behind us.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you, it's choppy. I don't
yeah.
know
Yeah,
No, I
we
see it.
why.
we working though. We getting it.
it is there.
Listen, hey, I did what I can do.
Yeah,
Today
gotta go to
is
grow.
the first time we use this program, so by next week I'll be, you know how I get.
Gotta
So
go to
yeah.
grow. We'll get it done.
Um okay, I'm gonna just remove it because to me it's just coming up choppy anyway. So
Is
let's
it playing?
just I don't know if it's playing. I don't see it playing. I
Oh,
only see
I just
the
see a still image. That was all.
oh, there she
the
goes.
Yeah, it's
the
really like a
front,
picture.
yeah, the front page of it. Okay.
We have to get
I'm
Aisha
trying
in here,
to
right?
I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
Yeah, cause
trying
we can't hear
let me
either.
slow. I think my technology is like, girl, we can't work as fast as you working today. Because it's like, I'm like, come on. Okay, there we go. Okay, remove from scene. All right, so yes, remove that from the scene. Aisha, are you with us? Give her a chance to get all the. Okay, you here now? I see you.
I wonder if it opened, it might have like went to the back of whatever she on, and she can't see it
I don't know.
because we can't hear
I
either,
can
like
see. I
anything
think.
going on.
Are you speaking, Aisha? It keeps. Do you
I
hear
e-
that? Is that my?
Let me text her, but I don't think she knows she's on.
And that's what made me think like it might have went to like the back of whatever screen she on. It looked like she just regular scrolling.
Yeah, I don't know. I can pull her off until we figure that out, though. 'Cause I don't know if she can, if she knows she's on either. Why does it keep doing it? I don't know if she's put her cell phone here or what. Because okay, there we go. All right, y'all. So before we start, we're gonna go over. I'm gonna go over the a few of the questions for the survey. I put out a sickle cell impact survey a few days ago at the beginning of the month, and I just kind of wanted to gauge the community's feedback on uh, specific topics that we're going to be covering for this series. So the first portion is again on patient-centered care and advocacy in the healthcare system. So the first question is, how would you rate the quality of care you receive from healthcare providers? Now, um, we have 51%, a little bit over half, put put it right in the middle at a three, on a scale from 1 to 5, to put it right in the middle at a three. 28.6% put it at a four, which is pretty good, and 14.3% put it at a five, as in excellent. So the quality of care, a little bit over half of the people answered that it was basically just average. And we have, a couple people for good and a couple one person for excellent. So that's awesome. Excellent care is amazing. So kudos to that person. Then we have, do you feel your voice is heard and respected in medical decision making? The answers to that could be always, sometimes, rarely, or never. And 28.6% answered always, and 71.4% of people answered sometimes. So need some work there, because definitely I haven't done the survey myself yet. I plan to, even though I know I did the survey, but I still want to answer the questions because I am a patient as well. And yeah, it's definitely needs some work when it comes to that category there. And we also have you experienced medical bias, neglect, or mistreatment because of sickle cell disease? Yes or no? If yes, please explain. And we have some answers. We have yes. How many yeses? One, two, three, four, five yeses and two nos. And the explanation some people gave was all yes all the time. I would get someone who was educated and accuse me, I'm sorry, of drug seeking. I get sad because they will withhold my IV pain medication until I start screaming. Why do I have to scream to get help with my pain? And we also have another answer. Yes, a doctor once asked me if I was really in pain or am I just hitting my PCA pump just because. Needless to say, I had her removed from my case. You know what to do. See, that's good. Yes, I've been released from the hospital, although I was in an active crisis. So these are very concerning answers. And this is why it was important for me to even have this conversation and talk about this as a whole, this series, especially for September. No, Siri, not you.
Hmm.
She tried to listen. My bad. I'm trying to get her off. Um, okay. And then we have, what would you like healthcare providers to do differently when caring for sickle cell patients? This was an open ended question, meaning people have the opportunity to provide their own answer, what that looked like for them. So I'll just go through the answers. To have more sympathy, to treat us like if this was their family member in agony, pain. Listen to us, believe us, and don't judge us. Have some bedside manners. Listen to me during admission. Stop the 24 to 48 hours on IV meds because most of us need it longer than that, and we have to fight with them to get our pain under control because they don't want to keep you on the IV because your labs look a certain way. And we also have an answer, if we say something doesn't work, try to understand, actually listen. I'm not a rush job, be more patient. So that we're only going to cover certain parts of these surveys during certain parts of the series. So that was the first part of the survey. And as you can see, I don't know about you all here, but I agree with everything that they said. It is a very similar experience, and these people are all over the nation. So it's not just isolated to one state or one city, and it's just very shameful that we all have this same issue, and it's time to change. I don't know about y'all, but I'm sick of it. I'm ready for what do we need to do to actually establish a change and make an impact. With that being said, we're going to move right along to our questions portion so that we can start this discussion. Okay. Now, we're going to cover the gaps in care. In your experience, what are the biggest gaps or barriers patients with sickle cell disease face when interacting with healthcare providers? And whoever would like to take that question first, feel free to jump right on in.
Can you repeat it one more time? My phone was breaking up.
No problem. In your experience, what are the biggest gaps or barriers patients with sickle cell disease face when interacting with healthcare providers?
Not enough knowledge
Mm,
from the nurses, from the doctors, from the ER department, um, any aspect of sickle cell that you have to deal with from your community, from your peers, from your whatever environment you come from. People act like it doesn't exist anymore. They think, oh, that was way back when, or whatever, or that still exists, or you get these kind of statements, and then when you are in crisis and you go to the hospital, it's unfortunate because of what these United States are under, this racial caste system, that you don't have to open your mouth, just the color of your skin gets you at the bottom of the totem pole. So you have to fight through that systemic racism, whether it's conscious or unconscious, it exists. And people reveal to you where they are at, by the way that they speak to you, by the way that they treat you. So we're always performing or trying to perform in ways to get good health care. And, being a coach and a doctor of psychology, I am here to break those cycles. I am here to help and advocate for better health care and get any and everyone to understand that we are human beings first. We are not the
Absolutely.
product of of this disease that is in our blood. We are more than that. Um, Everyone needs to know that, and we need to know that for ourselves, and we need to have confidence in that. And I think sometimes I don't always, you know, blame everything on the healthcare system. I always check myself first, how I'm acting, what I'm saying, what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, because as a man or woman thinks, so shall it be. So sometimes we can unconsciously and maybe consciously call into things into our life that we're not meaning to. But we have to be aware, and we have to really become conscious of who we really are and the power that is within us, and how we can create our own experiences. And we can begin to have better experiences when we go into these environments, just based on knowing who we are. And so that's what I'm all about. And that's what I teach. So, yeah, I'm hoping to break these barriers, and allow everyone to just be a human being. And so when you're sitting in that doctor's office or the ER department, you feel comfortable in your skin, holding the type of conversations you need to have to get the best health care that you need in the moment.
Absolutely.
Indeed, indeed.
Anybody want to add to that?
Yeah,
I agree. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you got it.
Okay, so I was gonna say I agree to that, and one of the things that I think can be bridged and brought together is just the doctor and the patient working together on their care. I feel like it'll get them out of the hospital quicker. It'll stop the readmissions, and it'll stop the judgment on the whole discrimination stigma thing of the doctor feeling like, oh, your labs are fine, so you're not in a pain crisis. Like, if they would just listen just a little bit to the patient, know the history of the patient, know that the patient actually knows what they're talking about when it comes to their blood work counts and all of those things, I think the process will be moved a lot smoother, and there won't be as many, oh, you've been here too many times, or how many times are you going to come back this month? Like, the little slick stuff that they try to throw at us, a lot of that can be stopped when it comes to just listening to the patient, but also the way we carry ourselves while we're in there, the way that we interact with the doctors and the nurses. A lot of times they may not know. So when it's an education moment, it's okay to educate them and have that self advocacy in you because that's what you're supposed to do. But it's the way that you do it. And a lot of people, their care goes from, like you said on your scale, a 5 to a 2 because they got into it with the doctor or they got into it with the nurse and they don't like how that person talked to them. So if we can pull our emotions out of it and our perceptions of, oh, they don't got to do me like that, we can get a lot further.
Absolutely.
Agreed, agreed. I agree with both of you ladies. Um my take on it, and then I'll like bridge both perspectives. I think everything's been stripped down, like the empathy framework has been stripped out of everything we can say. And especially in the healthcare framework where it should be the most prevalent. And as you
Yes.
said, like listening to the patient, which is patient-centered care and things of that nature, as well as how we show up counts and matters. Because I could say I'm 40 years old. 90% of my life, I've had good hospital care and interaction with the medical staff or wherever I'm at. And now a lot of that is because of how I show up and things. And I noticed that. And it's just like how when we were kids and how it was in the pediatric world. They seen us a lot there, but we never got that stigma. That was a place where that empathy framework was still there because all right, as kids, we care a little bit more. We're gonna make sure they age up well. But when you transition over, oh, it's time for the bricks. This is the real world out here now. Now there is real people out here who
Mhm.
drug seeking and real people doing that. I remember sitting next to a person that do that. Yeah, what you in here for? I'm sickle cell crisis. Oh, my mom's upstairs. I'm just trying to get high real quick, see what I can get while I'm down here. And I'm like, you is the reason why we have to go through all. It was the black man. I'm just shaking my head like, yo, this is the reason why we go through stuff like this. And but then tying it back to the medical field, it does matter with that patient-centered care and them listening to us, actually having that rapport with them. All right, because you understand every single person with sickle cell is different. So what happened at patient A ain't gonna happen with patient B, regardless if they both have SS or SC or beta thalassemia or the other forms. It's like these things still matter and count. So that's where a personal direction and an account with your care team or your doctor directly, where they know you as a patient, goes a long way. But as we are in the United States, things go crazy because everything's getting stripped away again. So we lose the people who care, and our care team gets gone. That's what happened to me during COVID. I was great with everybody after COVID. Now see, don't nobody know what they doing. Everybody rushing. Everybody just lost, and I'm like, my team ain't here. So now I'm seeing most of the things that I sadly read in our feeds on Facebook and on our other platforms when you looking at it like because those people that were there when the empathy still was alive, instead of just a crash out money burn, it fluctuates different. So my bad, I get real talkative when we get on these spaces, but
No, that's
I agree with
that's
everybody.
I do want to piggyback on what you said about the medical field and the empathy part of it. Um, from my knowledge, with the medical field and how they are taught, it's not about empathy, it's about bedside manner, right? They only taught to have like good bedside manner, and then you're not supposed to really get involved or really deeply connected to your patients, right? And I think individually, as a doctor, a medical doctor, I think it's up to that doctor to figure out how much involved he or she wants to be in any blood disorder person's life, whether it's sickle cell or whatever. Um, I think when we get, good doctors like Dr. Cosman, Dr. Patel, things of that nature, that want to sit down and have that, I'm here in California, so, and have that conversation with you and ask you, what do you like, what do you think, or whatever. Because Dr. Patel, she wrote out a whole plan for my care when I get sick because I live so far away from UCLA, so sometimes I have to just go to the closest hospital. So by writing that letter, I can show them. But still, even with that, it depends on the doctor. They have a problem with that. One doctor last time I was hospitalized asked me, why didn't I go where this letter came from, basically? You know what I mean? And it's like, Well, why are you all in your feelings about this? It's like, this is my, you know, this is what was written to let you know that I'm advocating for myself. Here's the document. I'm in a lot of pain. I don't have a lot of words. Here's the document. You don't have to ask me all this question. You can just read it and get things going. And
Right.
still,
Here's
and
how to handle me,
yeah,
basically.
here it
Yeah.
is in writing.
And they do that all the time. Like, why didn't you go there? Like,
Yeah,
if I could, I would have.
well, I said the difference
Right.
between a 9 minute drive and a 40 minute drive. How about that? What would you do if
Right.
it's an emergency? You understand? So it's like, I'm not afraid of people. I know who I am. I will talk to you. I will give it back just like you give it to me. But then I have to ask you, did I do something to you? Like, what is your problem? You understand what I'm saying? Because I didn't come here with one. Yeah, and it's like, I didn't sleep with you. I don't pay your bills, and you don't pay mine. So what are
Right.
we doing here? So it
Um,
ain't to be that
I
serious.
I do
Yeah.
have like another question because the question that I have
Hmm.
coming up next is actually we probably you all pretty much answered that. But I do have a two-parter to that question,
Hmm.
which is how do we build that trust with the healthcare, our healthcare teams, or even just the healthcare system as a whole? Because I know 9 times out of 10, like you're stating, they say, "Oh, why don't you just go to the hospital that knows you, that already knows how to treat you?" Um, and where you already have that trust established. And like you said, it's the difference between maybe a 9 or 10 minute drive and a 40 to 45 minute drive. And if you're in an emergency situation, that's not the ideal, type of predicament you want to put yourself into because you never know anything could happen. And so, like, how do we establish that trust other than just being who true to who we are in the process? What does that look like for you all?
I, I'm gonna leave with this one, y'all. I'm gonna say this. I love my nurses, and my doctor is okay. One of the things that I've realized is when it comes to the patient and the doctor, the only thing that's standing in the middle of that are the nurses. So for me, I've learned to have a nurse that I do trust, and I talk to them. I talk to them on a personal level about what's going on in my mental. I talk to them about how I'm feeling. I talk to them about how I feel my care is going, whether like sometimes it's one of the charge nurses that's my favorite, or mostly all of the nurses love me, but I try to put I don't want to say my emotions on my sleeve, but I try to be open and honest with them. And whenever I have that nurse that can back me up, sometimes there's new doctors that I've never seen before, and I leave by simply having a conversation with them. Like I was doing a word search puzzle, and the doctor was like, "Do you like doing those?" And we started talking about hobbies. We started talking about kids and what school did you go to and this type of stuff. So just having those conversations where you're letting them know I'm here, but also as a patient, but I'm here as a person too. How can we relate with each other? And those simple conversations can go a long way because they remember when you come back the next time, they remember that conversation. So, like I said, having that nurse or that positive attitude will take you a long way.
Yeah, I think if
Absolutely.
you don't have a good rapport with your with doctors and nurses like me, like when I go to the emergency room, um, for me, what has worked was just not getting out of character, not taking on what they may be perceiving of me. I think sometimes we can get in our head and we worry about what people are thinking or saying or whatever. And it's like, to me, I look at that like that's a your problem and not a my problem because I can't control your thoughts. And so it allowed me to stay in my character so that I could be able to communicate what I need, and it works. It turns things around because with this one doctor that that I had an issue with, you know, we just really just kept communicating back and forth, and with the intensity in it, like me just really advocating for myself. And then I just told him, I don't know what to tell you. If you already got it in your mind, you don't want to raise my pain meds and this and that, it's like, then I'll just be here in pain. That's all I could do if that's where you're at. I said, but you're putting everything on me. You're not trying to do this together mutually, come up with the best decision. You putting everything on me and you're stuck in one place. How will this ever be resolved? I told him, you figure it out. And I was done with the conversation. He said, well, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna think about it, and then I'll let you know what I come up with and all that. And so he went and he decided to up the medication. And when he came back, I said, you made a good decision. You did well. You understand what I'm saying? It's like sometimes we think being negative or being in a situation that feels negative is a bad thing. It's not. Negativity need to come or is necessary so you can get to the other side sometime. And if we can't be afraid of situations that may seem negative, because as we keep feeding ourselves, oh, they're going to put me out, they're going to call the police, they're going, guess what? Those things happen. So you never come out of your character. You never have to be afraid. Just true advocacy is knowing who you are, knowing what you're standing for, and stand on it regardless of what happened externally. Because you're not doing anything wrong. And when you know you're not doing anything wrong, that's what makes you even more powerful. And your message get through. And it creates change. And it's like we have to be change agents. So I'm just so hopeful for that for everyone, and knowing and getting to that place to being able to do that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place to be self actualized. And like that's one of the things I've been like whole life. Like I've worn sickle cell on my sleeve, back, shirt. Like, my friends would call me SC, like because they, yeah, like, yo, I got sickle cell. I ain't doing that. Like this is like
Right.
always having a kid. Nah, man, I'm
Hold
good.
up, wait a minute, that ain't for me.
Nah, I'm good. So it's like always. So then I became
Yeah.
a community health worker, an advocate. Just being super involved, and then you learn how to talk to people that way because you're
Yeah.
around so many. And then us being in the hospital all our lives, you learn so many perspectives. You learn how to talk to people like that. Like I always say, sickle cell people are some of the most equipped people that you will meet in your life because know what it's like to be at the bottom and what it's like to crawl and climb for every crumb. So if we're involved in something, we are pretty much 1,000% locked in, so
In
we
it.
know what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
like you said, you bring up the having your care plan, and you got those random ones that try and buck up against it. It's not going to work here because I'm comfortable in myself. I know who I am, and I know I'm not coming off like an a-hole. So now we have to figure some things out.
Right.
And
What you gonna do, right? Like
I'm
I'm here
already
for the
hurt. I'm
long. I
already
ain't
sad,
going nowhere.
and I'm already mad that I'm in pain. So I'm ready to take it there if you are.
And,
I'd
and
rather
all that
not.
anger and crying and being mad is like it makes it worse. I have no time for that. Like I can't.
You see my blood
Yeah.
pressure's
But
rising.
I just
You
had
see
that
this going on.
situation
You see
happen.
that? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said I had that situation happen with the nurse. I was asking her a question about something, and she said, "Well, I'm the nurse. You're the patient." And so immediately, my first thought was, "Oh, she finna get told off." But then I said, "Okay, let's sit back because you gotta sit here. You gotta stay here tonight." So I said, "Okay, let me say this to you. I understand that you're the nurse because you work here at this hospital. But what we're not going to do is act like it's not okay for me to ask a question. So when I asked you that question, it was for me to get clarity for myself so that we can move forward with my care. So I don't need you to give me the smart antics back. What
Right.
I
I'm
need for you to do
questioning
is
you.
find. type of way for us to deal with each other while
Yeah,
I'm here. And that's how I got through it. She came back and she apologized. But like you said, sometimes being negative, we don't want to be negative. But when they come at us that way, okay, we're going to let you know that you're not going to disrespect us, but we're also going to do what we need to do to get me up out of here.
but we
So,
always
I
just
think it's
remaining in that good character though is the saving
yeah,
grace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Bible
and I
even
also
tell us that. I mean, I'm not to say that I'm a Bible thumping all that kind of person, but I do believe in those powerful messages that say, you know, how if not this turn the cheek thing, but when
yeah,
you don't let somebody else unrighteousness bring out the unrighteousness in you, right? You just don't do it, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And I also believe it's just having conviction in ourselves and knowing who we
Conviction.
are.
Yep.
And uh, I think that as you all are my peers here today, I can firmly say that I'm sure you all went through an awakening of your own where you had to know yourself in order to know what path you wanted to be on and how you wanted to be treated and how you wanted to make your mark in this world and just being as a human being, being treated as a human being, being acknowledged as such. So when you go through that awakening and you go through that from feeling like a victim to a victor and to feeling like you will no longer let anybody make you a victim, sickle cell included, um, it does give you a certain conviction in a way to where when you have those conversations with the medical community, you know who you are. You know why you're there. You know what type of treatment works. You know what doesn't work. And to say we stand on business is an understatement because
Understatement.
if we don't stand up for ourselves, then we will be in a very compromising situation because I always put it to them in a very simple and plain way. If you make a mistake, you get to leave here and you get to go home and say, "Darn, that patient died," and try to fix what you've done. But I'm gone and I can't make it back to my daughter. So I can't allow you the luxury of
Right.
thinking that it's okay to make mistakes with me until you get it right when
Mm-hmm.
I know the right answer and I'm telling you the right answer. So if you
Mm-hmm.
cannot believe that this is the right answer, I need someone else who will. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Well,
when you have
being a melanated person, you're not supposed to know what you need and know what you want and be that
yeah,
smart or that intelligent. You know what I mean? I mean, it's
yeah,
just sad. It's a sad, sad, sad thing. I can't wait till racism is over. I
Mm-hmm.
can't wait till everybody make up their mind that race don't matter. It doesn't, because it's not about the
right,
color of your skin. It's about the content of your character. It is about the spirit within. Everybody got that. All of us.
yeah,
I
But
don't
that's a
know.
heart posture. That's a heart posture. If your heart ain't right and you don't believe in treating people right, it don't matter what color you are. You're gonna be that person. We can
Well,
yeah,
be
but
every
it's
race on the
it's an
planet.
added factor. You can't disannul it.
Yeah.
It's an added factor. I'm sorry. I mean, that stuff is taught from when they were kids, and it's a belief system. You don't even have. It ain't nothing. Racism is not about knowing anything about a group of people. It is just the fact that it
Negative
is
views.
taught. It's belief. It's just a belief.
The
And
belief
it's like,
system.
you don't
The
have to
framework.
believe that. You don't have to believe it. Why do you believe it? How can another person, no matter what other kind of color besides melanated you are, think you're better? That's just
Mm.
like a narcissistic or some type of, I don't know, complex, to just think because your skin is lighter, you're better. Like you get this better treatment to everything, and a lot of people are affected by it. Dark people bleaching their skin. It's a real, real thing. It's an issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That bothers people to the core. And it's like, no more, that's time out, because that's not why we were put here. This is not why we
absolutely.
were put here as human beings. We have purpose.
Always and forever.
Right.
And that
Yeah,
other issue comes in that, like, they honestly forget that we've lived in our bodies our whole life and they don't know it more than we do. That's
right.
the other
And
issue.
that's the thing. Because of this oppression,
Mm,
our our senses are so heightened. We
yep.
can sense and feel and hear things that we don't even see or
Empath
listen.
way
You
that we
can't
just
even.
naturally are. It just comes across. So you know when that
We
energy shift in the
that
room when they at the
energy.
door. When they at the
We are
doorway, up,
so in
here
the
we
room.
go.
That's,
Here we go. One
that's
of
that
those.
melanated skin. And this is what they try to cover up about us, because this melanated skin is a scientific thing. It is powerful. And that's why they dummy us down so much, because
Right. Comes to
if
knowing yourself.
we ever activate what we truly are, and that's what most of us with this entrepreneurship and getting it for our own and not believing in these systems and breaking away from it, it's like we're unstoppable.
Yep.
We have always been unstoppable no matter what they put in front of us. I mean, haven't you learned yet? So it's like same
Yep.
thing with this.
I
I
put it
may
in
not
the
be here to see it, but there's going to be some change. It
I put
will.
it in the perspective of, like, especially once again with sickle cell warriors, like if you just look at all the menial jobs that you've had in your life, and there's
Right.
just like, think about every one of them jobs might have been crappy, but think about the skills you learned on that job. And you use that as the foundation to build for your next one, to get an even better job. And think it's like small things that you can like, yo, just look at it this way. And that came from the power of you. From the knowledge of you, the one that came into yourself, had these ideas, sat there, worked on them, studied it, did what you had to do, and then showed out to the world. Now,
Because
the
you
problem
need to
comes,
know.
yeah, because you have to know this. And what that power does, it shifts you. I used to be in a 5 out of 10 pain every single day when I was just letting sickle cell beat the life out of me. When I was
Rule
accepting
you. Right.
to just accepting, like, all right, they keep telling me I'm gonna die. All right, when is it gonna happen? Because ain't nothing. I'm tired. My body just tired. And then
Right.
once I started believing myself, being proactive, going out, now I'm stretching in the morning, grounding, doing every single, at least for a half an hour, just really having the positive mindset, like, no, all right, I'm here, so I'm about to make the most of it and do the best that I have. I done showed out every other way, helping other people. Let me see what I can do
Right.
for myself. And
Right.
now I'm in a 1 to 2 pain every day instead of that 5. But it came with
Yeah.
mindset. It's still a skill. I still got to work at it, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed to know was it
You
was
had to
possible.
prove that to yourself.
Yep. And once I did, it's been show out time ever since.
Ever since. You can't doubt it. You can't lose with the stuff you use. That's it. Period.
And it's the stuff that's been calling you your whole life. You just was pushing it to the side. Oh, nah, not
Yeah.
accepting
Because
what
why?
other
Because
people
you
yelled at you.
accepting what other people say, other people idea, their fears, their concept. We have so much of that that comes to us in our environment, whether it's violence, whether it's, assault, whether it's, whatever these things we experience on top of just having sickle cell disease as a human being, it comes from people ideas, their own fear, their own
Yeah.
limitations. And you got to stop and block other people limitations that they have on you and believe in your own. So you set no limitation for yourself. There is no limitations for yourself.
The world do that enough. We know what pain like. We could take that. We could take the hits, and we could just keep on going because we know what it's like. We know what it's about. So you got to believe in that power and trust it instead of just doubting it like we
Yeah.
always do. That little voice is always just the one in your head, just trying to keep you safe. But sometimes that better thing is on that other side. You can't be scared to go for it.
Right. You got to meet that shadow self and subdue it. You got to tell that little shadow self, shut up.
We about to walk together.
What?
It's balance. We gonna figure this out, and we gonna walk together. That's
That's
it.
right. It's like, I got this. Don't be telling me what I can't
Hmm.
do. I'll be fussing at, no, get thee behind me,
Just
all of
watch
that.
my
Okay.
back. That's what you're here for.
Getting
Watch
back
my
to the
back.
question.
Yeah, okay. We
Uh,
got on the
we
tangent now.
have,
Next question.
yeah. How can hospitals and doctors better include patients in decisions about their treatment and care plans?
Make it a multi-purpose thing. So instead of it just patient and doctor, you got your patient, your doctor, your community health worker. You have other people that understand the lay of the land than just the ones that's trying to tackle it themselves. They're really bringing the patient-centered care around by involving more than just two people.
I think they have to. If there's a policy or there's some written terms and conditions or whatever, if there's some sort of you know handbook that tells them how to be, they need to rewrite it. They need to rewrite it and include the patient-centered theory about how to meet the patient where they are at, and really in those little 15 minutes off a visit, really utilize those times to benefit, really getting to know the patient and the condition that the patient is in. I think if their hands are tied with policies, right, like they got to abide by, some law or contract or whatever that jeopardize their license, uh, I think, somebody, need to advocate for them for change in policy, like to give them the freedom to really, because I hear in other countries and stuff like that, if other places got health care for free and these doctors are thriving because they really get paid for being involved with their patients and keeping their patients well, or enough, then why can't the United States? Because why? I think the United States concept is greed. Is like they want that almighty dollar only, and so they have these systems where we are herded. They see patients quickly, they get burnt out, they don't have the real time. It's like next, 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 next. Who got time to really get to know a case? It's like every moment they like doing the best they can with what they think this person need, and no real health care. So I think it's a lot. A lot has to do with policies and stuff, I believe, other than a doctor just making up their mind what kind of doctor they want to be, and be that doctor that give good service to all of his patients or her patients. So,
I just
that's
believe that I believe there's power in numbers. And one thing I can say, I've lived in three different states, and by the grace of God, I've only lived two of those states that I've had great care. I mean, the other state, well, one, two, four states I've lived in. Two out of two for me. Two of them was great, and two of them weren't great. And one of the things that I'm doing now, like I said, I'm working with the Sickle Cell Disease Association in my area. If you have those type of associations or you have those groups that are well known in, like in my city, when it comes to sickle cell, they all go to the association for sickle cell information. So if you're plugged in to the right source, it may be able to help guide you a little bit on your way as well, or you may have people that they know that never knew you that now you're tied into, and now it just makes it better for your care all around. So I think advocacy is first. Like you have to get out there, advocate for yourself, but you're also helping other people once you get that niche and you keep going, it's gonna start clicking and you're gonna start rolling and things are gonna start happening, people are gonna start knowing you. And that's just a part of getting active. Like you can't just sit back and point fingers. You gotta do the work in your life, and whatever work you're doing may help somebody else later.
Hmm.
Alright, Shay. Next question.
Sorry, y'all. My bad. I got Nyla's back, so I had to. She's getting in the house. Um, with that question, we had a two-parter to
I
that
can't hear
question, which
you.
is what are can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Let's see.
I know I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. The question is, what are some examples of effective patient provider collaboration you've seen or experienced? Uh, I want to say I've done the whole, from my perspective, I've sat down with my doctor and created an entire care plan for in hospital treatment. For if I go to another doctor, this is how my hematologist treats me, inpatient and outpatient. And I also had to literally, it's been a fight since I've been here in Las Vegas now. Um, it's kind of hard to find a great hematologist out here. Not to say they don't exist, just saying I can see the difference. Even when I lived in El Paso, I found a hematologist there. He didn't know much about sickle cell. He was very honest when I first, went to him as a patient. But by the time I left, I was like, he was telling me stuff I didn't even know. Like he took it as a personal challenge, and he educated himself on the new treatments. He educated himself on what can go wrong and why, and why this affects my kidneys this way, and why it affects my liver, and just going that extra step to help make sure I'm as healthy as possible. Because he knew, it's all in all. I always bring it back to I'm here for my daughter, and if you're not helping me stay here for her, you're hurting me, and I can't allow that. So even with this specific doctor that I have now, I I kind of had to force him to sit and write this outpatient care plan with me a few months ago, and it was so funny because he's like, "Oh, I'll work on it later." I'm like, "No, I want to sit here with you, right next to you, and let's get this together. Let's collaborate, because this is a
Hmm.
collaborative effort."
Yeah.
And he was very like, I guess he was taken back because he didn't. I'm, to
Think
my
you're gonna be that
knowledge,
involved.
first time that's ever happened to him. And so, just literally pulled up my chair, sat right next to him. Let's get it. Let's do this. Like, and most doctors kind of get off put by that sometimes. He kind of was. I can tell he was like, wow, like, because he really did try to, like, oh, I'll do it later, try to brush it off. No, no,
Yes,
no,
you will.
this is
Yeah.
not that. Like, this is
I ain't one of those. I ain't one of
I'm the
those.
pilot, you the co-pilot. You
Yeah,
the one
first.
that can sign, but you gonna listen to what works and how we can do this. And you know, you put your medical brain to my expertise for my own personal journey with this illness. And I think that as long as we start there and sometimes try to enforce that and hold not just other people accountable to your treatment, but yourself included. You know, accountability, I think, is the number one thing that is missing and that needs to be enforced on all sides.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think the most, well, our main hematologist here in Buffalo, like
What?
she sits down, she goes through care plans, she's real involved, and then as well with the sickle cell warriors of Buffalo, she's hands on in our support groups, and she comes to the walks and our a lot of our events. She'll try and make it to every single one if she can. So I'd say like that portion, like I've just had luck with a good doctors. So I'd say her walking pretty much every patient if they're up for it through a care plan, as well as like she, like I said, she comes out to all of our events and things like that, which brings in more of the medical community as well because of the affiliation, which just expands more awareness to where we can get our plight, out there and everything can be seen and heard. So on my stance, that's the most in tune I've seen. Like she's really, really involved with the work that we do, and trying to uplift warriors to have a better quality of life.
Anyone else want to answer that question, or we can move on? It's up to you all. Okay. Um,
I think it might be issues
you think it's
because I know she was waving at the camera like something might have went out, and I think Dr. Felicia hers been out for like 2 to 4 minutes.
okay? I get that. We can keep going and just so we can wrap it up soon because I know we've been here for a little while. 1 second. All right, so moving right along. Um, what role can advocacy groups and community organizations play in holding the healthcare system accountable to patients' needs? In your opinion.
Well, that can come back to what Dr. Hunt was saying about like policy, but
Hmm.
policy can have some sort because we still operate within HIPAA and all of that, so it's about how much of the community we can bring into it. But
Hmm.
also, hmm, I don't know. I just hit a roadblock when I'm thinking about it. Besides policy, because that goes back to people wanting to be involved, like the doctors and everything that we've spoken about on the good side, like how you said with your doctor in El Paso, like they went out to find that information. They cared enough to learn that new skill set, because we know a lot of the times with the medical community, even when they're in school, they only are literally learning about 10 to 15 minutes out of those extensive years that they have to do to earn those degrees. They only literally learn about 15 minutes of sickle cell information. Like it's like you have to be a hematologist or deal with a specific issue that sickle cell patients go through, like from retinopathy and certain things like with issues in that nature, to really be up on it, to be really
Yeah.
informed on it, or unless you know someone. Like it's crazy that we still are the most inherited blood disorder in the world, but still get like pretty much the least of everything, like the most
Yeah.
established and things like that. So it becomes, odd. It's like, yo, how and why, and then that's when you can walk to the racism side of things in the U.S. and the world, but still, as a human being, it becomes an issue. Like just internally, like you don't got no, this don't resonate with you at all. So besides policy, I just people caring is how we can bring it all together, because those connections can talk to the higher ups. It's just, are the higher ups willing to listen, or is that person willing to listen to create the bond and form that partnership to see patients getting better, regardless of
Yeah.
where they're coming from.
You know, truthfully, I think that somehow there isn't enough attention to the true pain that's being caused. Um, and I get wanting to collaborate, with pharmaceutical companies. I get wanting to collaborate with hospitals and healthcare systems. And that's all necessary. Never said it wasn't. And I do appreciate the efforts in those realms. However, I do feel that there's too much power in the what trying to dictate what can be talked about, what can be said to patients about change in those specific arenas. Because, right now, say for instance, a person who has, an organization have limitations on what they can and can't speak about when they
Mm,
have these contracts or sponsors, and want to continue to cultivate these relationships. However, what good is it truly doing if it's not helping our bottom line? And our bottom line is
yeah.
patients making it out of the hospitals, patients having normal, and I want to say normal. When I say normal, I mean new normal experiences when
Yeah.
it comes to being hospitalized, when it
Being,
comes to
just being, period.
having outpatient care team. Yeah, but it's like there should not be a person, especially in America, with sickle cell, living with sickle cell, that will go to a hospital and be mistreated, be, having, miseducation and all these things happen to them, and they don't have someone that they can call on.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say, oh, I can call on this person, I mean actually see
Mm,
results.
yeah.
Because yes, if you can call on the organization and they say, oh yeah, we can help you, and we'll try to talk to them, and it's not getting anywhere, it's time to escalate the
Yeah.
situation. And I'm not saying it in a sense of,
Oh, yeah.
oh, we need to
Nothing
go,
dangerous. Yeah, nothing dangerous.
right.
But
What
just
I'm saying
honest.
is consequences need to be established. What I'm saying is things, systems need to be put in place. If we've done all we can do and
The
we had
same
all the
issue keeps
conversation we
happening.
can have,
The same
and,
issue keeps
and
happening.
we've tried to be as amicable, as professional as possible, there shouldn't be like, dang, I'm sorry we couldn't do it. No,
Mm-hmm.
there should be something set in place where it's like, okay, now this team comes on, and if you don't want to participate and help us with this patient, and you don't want to see any results in the positive aspect for these patients, then we're going to put you on blast. We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to make sure people know you are not a safe place.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be realized and recognized that on a national level and exposed, then all you have to do was communicate. All you had to do was actually participate in being some sort of compromise with this patient so that this patient could make it home safely to their family. And I just feel like there's such a gap when it comes to that, that at the end of the day, we can't keep providing excuses where we definitely understand that it's just past that. We're past that at this point. There's no more excuses to be made. And if we don't have these programs, if we don't have the people that want to, and we do have the people, it's just all a part of collaborating with other organizations, all of us coming together. Because if you saying way in New York, hey, this is how we should be treated, and I have a plan, and I'm saying this in Las Vegas, and Tanisha's saying it in Atlanta or Alabama, and Dr. Felicia is saying it in Los Angeles, somehow, some way, there should be something we can all place together to make sure this no longer happens anywhere. Because
Mm,
if the same thing is happening everywhere, it's a problem. It's an epidemic. That's what you
yeah.
call an epidemic.
Yup.
And it's a mistreatment epidemic that is it has been going on far too long. And I know the medical system was built on all the isms, all of them. However, how do we create change? By standing up and saying no more, by putting those systems in place,
Yeah.
by creating those programs, by unifying with each other, regardless of the situation. I know for myself, I've created a whole response team
Mm-hmm.
before that I try to establish and get people to understand, okay, this is a national response team. You're getting mistreated. These are the steps we take. If these don't work, we go to the next steps and the next steps and the next steps. And basically, we're exposing, we're protesting, we're making sure just because we want to come nice at first, yes, like you said, we
Yeah.
own whatever they own.
We come respectable at first, and then when it's time to switch up, all right, let's switch up then.
Yeah,
If you
I'm
want to
on
take
what
it
you
there,
own, baby.
let's
What we
take it there.
doing?
I don't know
Right.
how conducive this is going to be, but I don't. All right, let's go. And that was
Yeah.
like what you're explaining is the reason. Like I started the wishing well and created it because it's so
Hmm.
hard to be able to fight on a national and worldwide level when we're all smaller voices screaming from larger parts of the continent. Like once we just trying to overreach, but if we had a conglomerate, a collective to fight with people, whether we're in Canada, whether we're in Cali, whether we're in Alabama, Atlanta, wherever, we still have this cohesive unit that moves as one for this group of people. And that is all right. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just about us collectively doing it instead of still having the same fights. What's worse, beta thalassemia, SS, or SC, like all that small stuff that
Yeah,
people
that don't
still
matter.
nothing at all.
Yeah.
We got a whole system we trying to fight, and we need a system to do that. So
Yeah.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. We need a system and a conglomerate of collective people that aren't afraid to do the work either. That is
But
another.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
I also think y'all we need one in every state.
Yeah.
We need one in every single state. Like the same way that they have state representatives and all of that. If we had something in every state and we could draw that organization or community together, that would fix a lot of it because it won't be, oh well, your state has this and my state doesn't. If we had something where every state could be covered, we could get through a lot of that.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
even at fighting as a community health worker and advocate, like you still knuckling up with all these people fighting policy, and they just a holes and just won't do it. Well, let me see,
Hmm.
because they can walk through that. Well, I got to get the paperwork signed. I got to do this and leave that reckless paper trail. And the only one we got is documenting that we called or something that they slicked off on. But we know how much those patient and doctor notes matter, because how whatever they write down when they having this interaction with us is what these people gonna take as law. So if they having a bad day at work and then interact with us, then that negative comes off. Now the energy balance off. Now I got something crazy in my report that's gonna last like it's your school report card or something like that. Yeah, like yo, you wow. Just trying to
Yeah.
protect yourself. We got all that madness still trying to come against us, which causes more stress, which causes more crises. It's just a balance that we got to find within ourselves to still fight the system and keep ourselves in equilibrium. Wild
Yeah.
space.
No, I was just saying, I was agreeing. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And, just with that being said, many patients with sickle cell, we do experience, being dismissed, being stigmatized when seeking care. How can the healthcare system address issues of bias and rebuild that trust that they have? We don't really have it, but how can they rebuild that trust? How can they help us moving forward? What does that look like in their terms? And we just what
Prioritizing
is like
us
what it is.
by prioritizing us. They need to make us know that they care. They need to have a bill across their state. They need to have something for sickle cell in their state and letting us know when you come in our ERs, we will do X, Y, and Z. and that gives you an option to say, do you want to stay there or do you want to go? And if that's the case, if they did that, a lot of us will feel more comfortable going places and being in these hospitals. But
Yeah.
you go somewhere and they don't even know a thing about sickle cell, that turns you away completely from everything. From everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that comes
Absolutely.
up
They
with
don't
a
have
whole bunch of education that you got to provide them and do all of this and third while you at it probably since you at the hospital between a 7 and a 10 pain. Like still trying
yeah.
to work all of these roles and like Dr. Hunt was saying, like you you learn how to act and you learn how to just just put on a little character just so you can get your care. Just to get some relief, you got to play all of these roles and things like that and take on all these personas just to get through your day to day. And that's a wild time. But that's another reason why I be saying, like, as warriors, we are some of the most resilient people and most skilled, highly skilled people that we just dumb ourselves down and our energy down until we get that awakening. Like, yo, no, I really can do a lot out here. Everything ain't just sickness and death like they keep telling me about every single doctor visit. I can do a little bit more. And believing in that can take us farther as well. But within the system, it's difficult fighting the system, which is why we all rely on each other as much as we do in these support groups and things to, give you that little extra bit of fire to start back up. And all right, here we go with another one. Like I said, it's all a
Yeah.
skill. It's a day to day thing.
And I also believe like just the pessimistic behavior, like you said, oh, we're constantly being told, oh, you're sick, you're gonna die, and this and that, and putting, death toll numbers and not seeing the patient in front of you, but seeing, and I get it, that's their job to see the science. However, you can't group everybody into those numbers or into those situations. You have to look at the person. You have to get to know the patient and understand where they are on their journey, because at the end of the day, you know, you don't have the final say so, and your negativity and your words that you're speaking on that person could send them in a downward spiral, sorry. That's like last year I was in the hospital every single month almost last year. Just very sick. My body has gone through a lot trying to repair itself because I'm in kidney failure right now. Because I'm on dialysis, it put my body in a whole different uh trajectory and situation. And so when I got my palliative care doctor, he's like, oh, just looking at your chart, it can tell like, oh, you should start making arrangements because you're not going to be here much longer. You don't ever, you don't, who are you to tell me?
Yeah,
I'm like,
that
you
kind
don't
of
know me very much because I'm going to be here.
that
I'm
kind of
too
talk.
stubborn to leave this earth and leave my child, and this is what I fight for. And I know what I fight for. And when you have that fire, you have that will to live, not just will, but that fight to live. Like you can you can't just put death on a person like that because you don't even realize that person might outlive you.
You don't know the fire you trying to put out, like, and that can happen,
Yeah.
like being talked into that, like you said, the power of the tongue and things that, like how we speak of ourselves and to ourselves
Mm-hmm.
matters a lot because, as we all know, sickle cell is just as much mental as it is physical, if not more mental, because of
Yes.
all the things that we go through. Which is come
Mm-hmm.
back, you still got to know and learn ourselves because we can block and save ourselves from a lot that the stress and the worry and the the pre of having to deal with life puts on us before we even step one foot out the bed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Absolutely.
it's so much that goes
I
into
feel
it.
like it's too much though. Like they put too much pressure on us sometimes. And a lot of us have stories where we start off by saying they they said I wouldn't live past 12. They said I wouldn't live past 14. They
Yep.
said I wouldn't live past 2. Like, We're the only disease that I can think of that they will put a time limit on and tell you that you're not going to make it. By
Hmm.
the grace of God, He has seen me through everything with sickle cell. And I met a 70-year-old, an 80-year-old with sickle cell. I know we
How,
are human beings capable of living a human life. It may not be to the fullest potential, where as a normal person that's perfectly healthy, but just because I'm a certain age doesn't mean I can't live well with sickle cell. It doesn't mean that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Try to say
And
that because when you get cancer, they don't tell. I mean, they'll try to say, okay, you're not gonna live 6 or 7 months with stage 4 cancer, whatever the case may be. But if someone has, say, they have fibromyalgia or MS or something like that, okay, they're not telling them you're not going to live past 36. You're not going to live past 12.
yeah,
So the
and
numbers count.
I've
They
always
got to
wanted.
read it.
I was just gonna say I've always wanted to challenge them when they even said, even though I did take it to heart internally, I took that as a personal challenge when I was told that when I was in high school. I did my senior project on older women living with sickle cell because I was told you're not gonna live. Sickle cell patients don't live past 50, and I went and I got wonderful, amazing sickle cell patients, women who were in their 50s, 60s, 70s,
Hmm.
almost 80, and it's just like I took that as a personal challenge, even though I did internalize what was said to me. And yes, of course, I feel differently because my mother died at 25 from sickle cell. So that was something that was personally going through as well. But, you know, I never took what doctors tried to tell me and just put that as a law because I was so miseducated on so many different occasions. I was once told by a doctor, "Oh yeah, you had the sickle cell trait, but it it developed into the full blown disease."
Wow. Well, I know how that happens, but that's a reason for that. Sometimes when they do our blood work, it can show up as a trait because of whatever going on in the chemistry. And
Mm,
then when they do it again, the disease, it happened to me because I was SS at one point, and then
mm,
somehow I was showing as something else. I forget, it was in my chart. I was like, I don't have this type. I have SS, but it was explained to me that sometimes it just happens. I don't know what they call it, but uh,
mm.
but yeah, um, I don't know how that happened. But on that topic, you guys were just talking about. Sorry, you guys, I had to take care of some important business. That's why I had to drop off. But on that topic about putting that death age on us and not doing it to other, so-called chronic illnesses and stuff, we have to understand, because this was part of my education. I really studied, Africana studies or African American studies and stuff, and Black psychology, and it's a psychology to all of this, right? It's like we have to understand our history and how the medical model even came into existence was from the experiment on Black bodies. And when
Yeah,
they did these experiments, they did it cruelly,
yep.
and that's why they had the Monahan reports, and that's why now you have to do these IRBs. You got to be compliant, because why? They did harm to people. There are people from these experiments that they did with, putting probes on people's head and
Analogy stuff and all yeah. Shock
and
therapies and
shock therapy and putting holes in the brain and
yep, hole
all
drilling.
kinds of stuff, and even with gynecology, the equipment that was created and used was torturous.
Mhm.
So
And black
what
bodies were more resilient.
we cannot be shocked when we come down here today that when we get diagnosed with something, it's unto death. Because why? That was the system. The system is slowly killing us. They want us. They don't want us here. They don't. When I say they, and I hate when I hear other
Yeah,
people say they. Who is this they? Who is this they? Who is this they? Well, the people who created the
the
system. That's
system.
the they.
The
People
powers that be. We know who
It's
they
the
is. It's the powers that be. Let's not pretend we don't
system.
know who they
Them
is.
folks.
Right,
Them folks.
right? Because we don't know their names, right?
Them
We
people.
never see their face. But like Bill Gates going over to Africa, I'm glad that I don't know what
Been
continent,
following that apparently since the 80s. Like you follow
but
all
they
Hmm.
ban. I
stuff
am
with that.
so glad that they have banned him from
Yeah,
being over there, giving them. He is not even a doctor, and he making vaccines, and he got something to say.
His daddy been doing it since the 70s and 80s.
But that is why, because they're trying to stop us from reproducing. Why? Because they are becoming
Minority.
the minority. The
Yeah.
name that they gave us, that's what they're becoming. But here's the deal: they always have been the minority. It's a
Mhm.
mind trip.
yeah.
Everywhere you go, you see melanated people. There are more melanated people than not, but they want you to believe that this is a Eurocentric world, and it's not. So we get these constructs because a construct was built for the livelihood of a group of people. And if you can pass to be that group of people to have a better life, then you get the better treatment. If you don't pass to do that, then you're not, right? It's like it's an unspoken word. They can just look at you and say, "Oh, okay, that caste system. Oh, they don't deserve this." It's just an automatic thing. But here's the thing about spirit. Here's the thing about that power in you. It overrides all of that. Because what is for you, and it's been ordained. And so we just have to remember that in everything we do. We got to know the history, we got to know where things are, but at the same time, we have to deconstruct that stuff. We have to deconstruct it and create new meanings moving forward, right?
Absolutely.
Whether it's written in law or not, we still got to create new meanings for ourselves so that we can create the type of life that we want to have. Or else, what are we here for?
You're gonna be subsequent to what other people tell you.
That's it.
It's
Yes.
all in the mind. You control your reality. You can use your mind to create your reality. I meditate every day, every
That's
evening
right.
too. So like
Right.
these things are possible and true. It ain't just some mumbo jumbo you heard. It's
Not at all.
reasons that cultures have been doing this for hundreds of years and thousands of years.
But
Certain
I just
things,
don't want us to soak
yeah,
on
because that's
all
what
these
happens.
on
And we
all these bad things. Let's talk about all these bad things that they do and say about sickle cell. Yes, let's
bring
do
out your
that. Let's
system.
expose that. But on the flip side of that exposure, let's reveal the truth. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't
Yeah.
want us to be stuck on
Yeah,
all the
just on the
negativity
negative.
that they
Always
do.
on the
You
Yeah.
negative.
understand
I
what
say
I'm saying?
no
We have
negative,
to
all
flip the
positive.
script so that we can put it out in the
We can
environment, the
flourish.
different energy, the
Yup.
different energy that we want to receive back.
It
And
all
Absolutely.
that's
counts.
where
It
it
all
With
starts.
that
matters.
being said, I do have a question about
Mhm.
if you can make one systemic change
Mhm.
in hospitals or clinics tomorrow to improve patient-centered care for sickle cell, what would it be?
Mine's
I
always
think it
gonna
would
be
be. I think it would be bridging the gap, like the gap of that community meeting the sickle cell community, because, like Tranisha K said,
Tanisha.
she said that they come to the sickle cell foundations or whatever where she is, like, to get information. See, I don't think California is so huge. We got north, south, east, but I mean it's huge. And so the thing is that wherever we live at in California, however many different hospitals they are in our area, the advocating need to be, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this here in your neighborhood. Please, visit this, sickle cell foundation, or visit this, whatever, Cayenne Wellness, visit here, there, whatever, or call, or come to a conference, or come to the summit.
Resources.
Give them the resources to say, hey, I'm a send, a couple of my doctors to this, maybe they can learn more. Because, I know Cayenne Wellness got this nursing program. Maybe we could do something for a doctor program, you know what I mean? To connect the community with the hospital so that they could feel good about coming out to some of the things and finding out what's really happening, finding out what is really going on in the world about sickle cell.
Yeah, because we've been talking about the same thing for decades, like the
And I'm
same
tired of
issue.
it,
Same,
this 100
exactly. So it's like, what is we
people.
going to do now? And like as you've been saying, like I'm trying to come up with programs and things like that that brings in the medical community, and they can gain credits for they like just to make it something beneficial for them, but where they get the understanding of sickle cell in a deeper manner and things like that. Because I do
Yeah, give
understand
them
that.
CUs and whatever else they might
Yes.
need or whatever.
Are
Huh?
y'all speaking? Are y'all speaking on the medical professional side, or the advocate, or the patient side? Because when I've done these programs recently for World Sickle Cell Week that I did,
Hmm.
the sickle cell patients didn't even show up. The
Oh, yeah, that
medical
happens a lot
professionals
here too.
were
Yeah,
there,
that happens a lot
but
here in
we
Buffalo too.
Well, here's the
so I
thing
think
about the sickle
one
cell patients, too. Okay, listen. So, we got to give the sickle cell patients some grace, right? Because sometimes we just don't feel good. And then sometimes, if it's not advertised enough or no personal contact, like not just email, but if whoever is putting on the event can give a text or give a call, like you got to go beyond, like to really get the numbers that you want for the sickle cell patients to show up. Because you here, you got to look at this, you got to look at this, right? Most of us are not, and I don't know what the percentage is, and I don't know what the stats are, but some of us don't have jobs and making money, number one. So that means, how are we living? Do we have a car? Do we have transportation? Do we have to take Lyft or Uber? You know what I'm saying? Do we have to walk? Do we have to take a bus? So sometimes when you put on these events, you got to remove the barriers for a warrior to get there, right? If they don't have a ride, are you going to provide it? A way for them to get there? You got to look at, when you're planning these events, you got to understand the population that you're dealing with. The population that you're dealing with may want to come, but because nobody found out what their hardship is, then you get an empty room with a bunch of professionals and no warriors. See, that's the thing. And this is what we call it, pimping sickle cell, because when you get the people who have money, or people who can get there and benefit, and get the resources and get the information, and it's about sickle cell, and we can't even get there to do it, and it's about us, and then you don't do nothing to to make sure we're there, involved, or even recognize us. That's pimping us. You pimping us for your agenda and not even really working towards making sure we get what we need. What is it? So
So do you think it would work out if we ask those questions ahead of time? Like, hey, do you
at
need
a time, yes,
transportation?
that's all we need. Because who gonna really come to you and say, who gonna really feel comfortable, unless a person like me who is comfortable in my set and skin, to say, hey, I see this going on. Is there a scholarship? Or I see this is going on. Something wrong with my car, can't get there. Or somebody, can you hook me up with a ride? I mean, most people are not outspoken like that. So what do? They internalize, They look at that situation, they feel bad, and they don't say nothing. They just say, "Oh, I can't go to that," or "I'm not gonna be able to make it," or "I can't afford that." And they really want to go, and they really want to go. And another thing too, technology. A lot of people get these phones and computers and don't know how to work them, don't know how to. We need to educate the people to learn how to work their technology because they're going to get left behind. This is a technology world, and a lot of people that I work with, I'm on this side of town and they way over somewhere else or something, and I'm trying to explain to them how to operate something. Just like getting on this call today, this new platform. I'm like, hey, this is a new platform. How do I get in? But I reached out. Some people would have got frustrated, upset, forgot, forget it. I ain't going on, whatever. No, I didn't give up. I got on. I'm here. Why? Because I love learning new things. It's like this is not going to defeat me. But everybody is not like that. So we have to, and see, that's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm so grateful and thankful for building my team for my new 501c3 because I really want to educate people who want to be of service to really understand the population that you are serving. You have all kind of dynamics. You have people who work, you have people who have successively got degrees, and maybe not working or some working, or you got people who are just lost too and
Yeah.
don't know how to do much. And so you can't judge, you got to discern. You got to discern and you got to think of everything. And I feel like if I'm going to have a 501c3, I really need to survey my population and understand what that population needs. Because if I'm
What
going to
them?
put on an event, I need to be successful, right?
Mhm.
And I need to think of everything. And sometimes it's like when you get that money and get that budget, that's why you got to create those line items so that, hey, I want to have this budget for transportation. I can tell the people where to go, where they'll get picked up, or they can call, they can get Uber vouchers or, Lyft vouchers, whatever it is. But, uh, you sometimes have to provide the resources to make an event successful. And if you don't take the time out to really understand your population and getting the people out there, then that's why you'll have empty seats all the time.
We've tried that as well because like I'm real technical and things like that. So we'll try the reaching out through online platforms. We're working on getting our transportation so we can get Uber and Lyft vouchers and things. But it still
Yeah.
is a lot of the some of the same stuff. Some people just don't show up. And like I'm the community health worker, so I'm doing the text messages trying to get people reaching back and forth. Some people just don't.
But here's the deal, too.
And we had that problem where they didn't even get in the car. They didn't show. They didn't go get in the car, or they
Uh-huh.
had kids with them, or their grandma, their boyfriend with them. Like we've had all of those things, and it's like we
And you
done what
will.
you said, but you're
Yes.
not showing
So
up.
then you have to have consequences, and you have to have fine healthy boundaries too in your business and things that you're doing. It's like you have to tell them the rule is if you miss one, then you have to do this to get back on track to get this service again, because if you don't, then that's going to, how are they going to be held accountable? So this is why you have policies and procedures and everything in place when you do things, because this is why they're supposed to read on the dotted line and sign and all this other stuff, because if it's not clear to
Protocol.
them, they'll
Protocol.
right, they'll think they can do whatever. So now that you have experienced this, you guys need to go back to the drawing table and say, hey, what can we do to really safeguard that we are successful and really get the people who really want to come in, because you just can't keep spinning your wheel on people who don't. People got to choose to want to help themselves and be a part. And if they don't, okay, you got to
It's on you. That's
fall
on
by
you.
the wayside. But see, here's what happens. And this is a good topic too. Because here's what happens in the professional field. When you are hired, or if you are, volunteering your services as a 501c3, when you take on a role, right? and you sign on the dotted line that I can do this job, right? What happens is that that's the professional person saying, or whatever your criteria are, saying, I can do this. But once we
Mhm.
get into that, what happens is once we get into that work environment, we wear many hats in the work environment of which we're not supposed to do. If you're there to be whatever your job title is, that's what you are supposed to be professionally. But our own personal feelings seek in. So let's take this example. People don't show what happens on the job. See, that's what I say. That's what happens. We do this for the people, and then they don't. That's personal. Your personal stuff come out. Then that is energy. That is an energy that get put into that company, and then that becomes the psychology, or that becomes the word I'm really looking for, the
Mindset, viewpoint.
culture, right? That becomes the culture of that business because they allow people to talk like that. They don't check the person and say, hey, we are professionals. When something like this, what do? We're supposed to check into it. How can we correct it? But no, we start putting our personal opinions on it, and we start putting these stereotypical beliefs. Oh, that's what I say about black people, or they be complaining and they say they want this, and when we do it, they don't show up. And you gotta stop that. Why? Because you are creating that culture. You are not around.
I wasn't saying that about them. I was just speaking
No,
in
no,
general though.
saying
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, overall, you got to check out a lot of things because it could be a lot of factors of why things happen. That's all. And then when it do happen, we got to check ourselves about what we have in our heart to bind about what happened, instead of taking it straight negative, because that's blocking the blessings. That's still blocking the purpose of what you set up the 501c3 for, the program for, in the first place. So, you really have to get yourself together, your mind, body, spirit right, when you are saying you're a leader in anything
Yeah.
that you do, because it's easy to slip up.
Shay Brian, are you here?
I think I don't know if she's trying to say something because I be seeing that little circle
It
around her
says it's
picture.
offline. I think she's just
Okay,
moving.
so the last question, y'all, it says your wish. If you could change one thing about how care is delivered, what would it be? That's the last question.
One wish.
If you could change one thing about your care and how it is delivered, what would it be? Your wish, yes.
Quick, fast, in a hurry at the ED
Mhm,
department. if I Felicia Hunt, oh, she's at the door. Let her in the back real quick. Hurry up.
mhm.
Hate being in pain. Hate waiting around. Hate just hate it. But you have to be patient. But if they can get it down to, from check in 15 minutes to the blood work and to the vitals, and then 15 minutes after that get you in, and then some pain medicine. Hey, that's what I would change. Like the time it take to check a sickle cell patient in to get services for the crisis.
Yeah. And I think most of us, it's a lot of us, I can't say all of us should have it, but I like how certain hospitals have direct admission and they have like protocols at their hospitals. Not everybody does, but
Like Duke Hospital. When I went to go visit my niece and I got sick
mhm,
out there, I went to Duke. They understand the mission, honey child. That was the first time ever. I didn't have to wait long. Even the doctors were in my pain crisis was trying to help me say what I needed to say so I could get what I needed. She, the doctor
that's
literally
good.
said, you take your pain. She said, you need your pain medicine every 30 minutes, right? And she looking at, I never had a doctor tell me I can get it every 30 minutes until it's under control. I was like, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. It was a shock to me. Like 30 minutes? really? If it don't work in 30 minutes, I can get another shot in 30 minutes. Like, I was so shocked. And they stuck to their word. And I was having a real bad crisis. That didn't help. So I had to be admitted, to continue to get the treatment. But I mean,
Yeah.
they understood the assignment and they got that protocol right. And it's like from one hospital to the next, why it's so different? If one hospital came up with it,
Yo,
other hospital pick it up and do it. It
Mm-hmm.
works.
it's like that here. Like one hospital, was that suburban, Miller Fillmore Suburban. Like when sickle cell patients come in, they we have a color system, so they put you at an orange, close to red. But if
Hmm.
you go to like another hospital, Buffalo General, everybody just get put at yellow, no matter what you got going on with yourself. So it's
Yeah.
like and it's wild. But I go into suburban, I'm in immediate. Like you said, 15 minutes. Like I'm in there within 5, 10. They run through my whole thing. Within 45 minutes,
Right.
I'm hooked up, getting my, and I got
Right.
a Metaport. So, that's a little
Right.
bit extra.
Easier, right?
So
You
it's
got
like,
your
yo,
oxygen, you got your IV.
got
Hey,
all that.
all
But
that stuff works.
I might be waiting for 4 or 5 hours going to this other ER, just sitting there, just like, yo, what? Like, just having, I'm better off at home. Like, it's stuff like that, putting those pressures in. So I definitely understand that viewpoint. My bad for
I think
interjecting.
when I answered that question, I said ER2. I think that's what I answered because that's what it is. Before we get admitted, it starts in the emergency room.
It
So
starts in
for
the
me,
emergency
it's the
room.
ER. Yeah.
And the admission before the last one, I had to put in the complaint, and I even complained to the public health services, and they found neglect. So, which I need to follow up and get that letter because that letter is going to help me
Try to
uh,
beat your case.
pursue maybe a potential lawsuit. But it's not only about the lawsuit; it's about bridging, taking this as an opportunity to bridge
Yeah,
the gap to get them to understand, like, hey, utilize me as an advocate, right? Find a position for me for y'all to come into this healthcare system and help you guys understand what sickle cell is all about because obviously you don't.
it's a disconnect.
It's a disconnect and it gotta stop. So yeah, they did find
Absolutely.
neglect on that. I turned in all my medical records and stuff and they found neglect because I had to wait
Mhm.
so long in the emergency room for pain medication.
Yeah. That'd be another
So
thing
how
we
did you
don't
go
fight.
about that process?
Huh?
How did you go about that process on doing all of that?
So I have mentors, I have sisters, I have people who I can call on, and they came out because I couldn't advocate for myself. So it escalated to a point to whereas I got referred um, to the complaint center,
Start working
and,
that chain of command.
and so they gave me the person to contact to put the complaint in. So that's the thing. You have to put the complaint in.
Hmm.
And so when I put the complaint in, they have to do an internal investigation. When this person did the internal investigation, she investigated the wrong part. She investigated the admitted part where I was in the hospital. I told her to reinvestigate the emergency room. She didn't do that. I escalated it to civil rights and to public health. And so, how did I do that? I think I called 211 and told them about my situation, and then they gave me the resources. And then I sat down with ChatGPT and told
That's
ChatGPT,
exactly what I'm about to say.
and ChatGPT helped me formulate the right messaging and letters to send to these entities. And I sent my medical records and everything. And they got the information, and then I got a phone call after their investigation and said, you will be getting a letter. We did find neglect. So that's
It's
what you
about
do.
working that chain of command. Like I learned that from
Right.
being an advocate and taking the advocate classes. They teach you
Right.
that. It's about really working the chain of command. They create a paper trail. You have to do the same.
You do
Something
too.
wrong with you? All right. What time? What's your name? What doctor? Who was on? Or that stuff comes in that when they give you your discharge paperwork, all that stuff be in
Right,
there. You can just
right,
go back as long as you had that time, what happened. You write all
right.
that down, and then you just follow the chain of command. And now, with all the AI we have available, you can just ask them questions right to there. We got
You can go to the AI lawyer, AI on
everything.
ChatGPT. I go to that lawyer one where they deal with, documents and all that stuff.
Hmm.
I
You can
upload
have
that
it.
document into
So,
ChatGPT so it can read it, and then I have ChatGPT help me fill it out according to my
yep,
case
step
and
by step.
what I need to step, and it does it step by step. And that's what even makes it more easier to not carry a
Hmm.
lot of the pressure or weight of the world on you because now you got this technology that you can. I
Use
talk to
what you got to get what you
ChatGPT.
want. I do the
Yeah.
same thing.
I ask ChatGPT everything. I tell ChatGPT, ask me questions about myself so you can get to know my
Oh yeah,
personality, thing, da da da, blah, blah, blah. So once ChatGPT know me and know who I am, now I can just talk to ChatGPT and it talks to me like I need to be talked to, like it specifically talks to my needs. And some people don't know how to do that
how to
and
do it.
use
Yeah, how to use it.
Yeah.
and how to make it come out like that. But yes, a lot of prompting that you have to learn how to do to make it
You know
you.
you,
Yeah.
Yeah,
understand you, know all your aspects. Cause I use ChatGPT for my frameworks, I use Claude for my writing, I use Gemini for my triple check, and now I use Grok to check all of that. Like I have a whole stretch of things that I use and utilize because
yeah,
I wanted to learn and I created these systems based off of, we always down a lot. We always at the bottom or
Mhm.
we out of work for a long time. How can I use what I got to get what I want? Same stuff I heard
Using
on
those
Players Club
tools.
back in the 90s. Use what
Yeah,
you got to get
absolutely.
what you want. And it's like, yo, just start thinking about, all right, what are my strengths? What is this? All right, had a conversation with the AI. All right, yo, bounce back and forth with that. See what your strengths are and what your purpose fully is and go after that. Find your balance. You'll defeat a lot of this stuff that's trying to come down on you. Like I said, that's how I did with my health. And I believe it's possible because all of this is possible. It's just about taking the
Absolutely.
time to utilize and learn it. And now with this technology, we can learn literally anything under this earth and sun that has ever graced it. So now it's
Yes.
just using what we got to get what we want. All right, what do we got to do against the doctors once they treat us like this? Let me ask the question. If,
yeah.
if we can just get this information, and now it's just about
Mhm.
doing it, utilizing it,
Yep, you
actually
Yeah.
like
taking the action
ChatGPT.
steps to get where we say we've always wanted to be at. And that's what I'm trying to do and push for our people. We way too great
Yeah.
to not be where we deserve to be at. Warriors deserve more, and we coming to get it. That's it.
Coming to get it. We coming to
And
get it.
thank you all for your input today. Thank you for your lovely, opinions and just being a part of this panel, being a part of this discussion because it's necessary and this opened up the whole series. So I think that we had a amazing conversation
Beautiful.
and I'm so grateful that I was able to, put this together and actually show up because things happen, but I'm definitely interested to see how far this series, will go. And I know we're going to have a lot more different conversations moving forward. Uh, However, we're gonna end this one in particular because we've been here almost 2 hours now, and I want everybody to have the opportunity to, if they're going to watch it in playback and go
Yeah,
through the conversation that we
digest
had.
it.
We had a lot of great, conversations, and I'm grateful these questions really, brought that out for us. Uh, if you all want to continue on to the next um, panel, I'm more than happy to have you. I just have to make sure everybody, some people are, it'll work for some, it might not work for others. So I just give everybody the opportunity to come on and join the conversation. Next week, we will be talking about what are we talking about next week? Hold on, let me
You put me on for
Everyone,
next week.
It's gonna be a
talking
cleanup
about.
day.
Yeah, put me on for
Megan?
next week. I got to work the other. I'll be working my coin framework the last two, but definitely put me on for next week.
Yeah, so September 11th, we will be talking about mental health impacts of living with sickle cell disease.
I
So
signed
I'm
up for that
super
one.
excited about that one.
That's
And we're
important.
going to have an amazing conversation. I do have questions that I put in the comments for our audience that were watching. I pinned those. I also pinned the survey. If you all haven't done the survey yet, please make sure you do the survey. All of us, even the panelists, the people who plan to be panelists, because especially if we're sickle cell patients, we need to provide these answers. And, usually I'm the person sending surveys that, you get paid for, but this one, I genuinely would like to know, because as we said it before, we have to meet the patients where they're at. And myself included, I still have hardships. I still have problems with, healthcare sometimes too. So all of this matters. And as long as we have one voice collectively speaking, that is well on the right direction to solving a lot of the problems that we have and that we continue to face. And like you said, it's been decade after decade of the same thing, and it's time to have solutions and not just talk about the problems, but be those solutions. So before we go, I want to open up the floor for you all to speak on anything you would like to say, anything you have coming up for Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and then I will end this out from there.
Yeah, right. I'll go first. So for Sickle Cell Awareness Month, I'm going to be hosting an event on September the 27th for a fundraiser for my new 501c3. We're going to be at a restaurant called Chef to the Bone. We're going to do raffles and probably a silent auction to raise funds for seed money to register the 501c3. We do have a dollar sign Fable Warriors NW Cash App if anybody want to donate to help us reach our goal of having the seed money. We're looking to raise anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000. We want to make sure we have enough in our account to not only just register, but also to take care of any in-house things that the board of directors feel necessary for Fable. Getting our tools, getting our domain, getting all these things cost money. So we need the seed money to really build a great foundation for warriors 50 and over. So, um, if you live in the state of California, look up Shelf to the Bone. We will be advertising and giving out more information about the location, and it's a seafood restaurant, and so all you have to do is order your food online ahead of time, and then come for the festivities because we're going to have what we call women over dinner. So that means that it's going to be a lot of activities, conversation, information about sickle cell, and what Fable Warrior Network is all about. So I hope everyone will be able to participate in gifting us because since we're not registered yet, we can't take donations, but we can take gifts to get everything started. Once we become an official 501c3, then your donations will be a tax write-off. So just remember that your first giving would be a gift, and we appreciate all gifts at this time. So yeah,
Awesome.
thanks. Oh, and
Anyone
you can reach me at Fable Warriors nw@gmail.com if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
All right. Well, here in Buffalo, tomorrow will be featured on Channel 4 News because our seventh annual sickle cell awareness, our Walk Like Warriors, is our theme this year. Is That's Saturday, our sickle cell awareness walk here in Buffalo. That's be held at Delaware Park at the Colvin entrance. You can donate to Sickle Cell Warriors of Buffalo at scwbuffalo.org. Learn more about us there. Me, myself, Jason Robert Moore. I have my coin framework, compass of inner navigation. I got a class coming up on Monday. All the registration stuff is through my LinkedIn at Jason Robert Moore. And, I'm just here to advocate and help everybody. Just trying to help our warriors and do what we need to do. Bring our purpose to the forefront. Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks for coming.
That's cool. And so in Alabama, we will be having the first event is going to be Tuesday, which is going to be an open house. I'll be speaking, giving my testimony on my life experience and everything that I've been dealing with, the things I've learned. We'll have food, fun, music, all of that. So come out to that. And then on that's September the 9th, and it's from 5 to 7 p.m. at the association. And then on September 18th, we're having a red gala. So that one will be from 4 to 10. So you can come out to that. And then this Saturday, September the 6th, the Sickle Cell Association of Georgia is having their run/walk. So if you want to see me, you can come to any of those three, and you can find me on Facebook at Kanisha Hall. And I'm more than happy to talk to you if you inbox me.
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining. Make sure you all who are watching and who plan to watch look out for these wonderful advocates and warriors and all their efforts that they have going on, and support them if you can, especially if you live where they are. Also, I just want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for the participation in the comments. And I do have audience questions if you still want to answer those. For those of you who are going to go and watch later, um, make sure you answer those questions because I
I,
genuinely would like to know.
I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to be on a support group. I'm a speaker there, and I thought it was 6:30. I need to go. But thank you for having me.
That's a great one. Be well.
All right. And I'm just going to leave you
Bye.
all off with my wonderful words of wisdom, which is start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. Until next time, folks, peace. Have a good
Bye.
one. Have a good night.
Thank you, Shabrian.